Hello. I moved to Pevensey in Sussex in September 1998. I had bought this new property, a small bungalow, but was not to receive the land registry documents with plans which prove what land I owned until more than 3 months later. Soon after I had moved in, neighbours arrived next door, a large man, a small wife, and the wife's mother. Here are the adjacent properties. Then, one afternoon in November, hearing banging outside, I looked through a window to see the large man standing on my front lawn, supervising the fencing off of a 1.5 metre wide strip of the lawn. The white lines show where the fence stood. When I asked what he was doing, the large man said that he had his land registry plans, and they showed that the boundary to his property was where he was having the fence erected. When my land registry documents arrived in January 1999, and I examined the conveyance plans, it looked as though the large man had been lying to me. This is a scan of part of my conveyance plans, showing my bungalow in the middle, the large man's property on the right, and another bungalow on the left. The land registry outlines one's property boundaries in red. My boundary with the new neighbours goes through 2 right angles, as this enlargement shows. The position of the large man's fence is shown in brown on this edited version. I asked the large man to compare his conveyance plans with mine. Although both properties had been built by the same builder, his plans did not match mine, as the red line took a short cut between the 2 right angles on his plan in an apparent attempt to straighten out the line. I pointed out the discrepancy. He then produced a plan which did match mine. The first had evidently been a forgery. I asked the large man to remove his fence. The small wife immediately became abusive, and the large man was furious. He removed a part of his fence, but started on a policy of harassment. It began with abusive language, the first utterance being on your screen now. Then I started to receive stuff through the mail and by courier, up to 4 or 5 items a day on occasion. Some of the more than 500 items in envelopes still in my garage can be seen here. Goods ordered in my name proved much more of a nuisance. This is one of 3 boxes of books that couriers tried to deliver, and here one of several parcels of clothing and household goods that had to be returned. I collected together several examples of handwriting from coupons in newspapers and magazines for the police, but that proved a waste of time. One police officer explained to me that people can change their handwriting. The example of a coupon on screen has a fake signature and a poor guess at the date of birth. On the 7th of July 1999, the large man advanced to this spot at X on my front lawn, pushed me in the chest, and threatened to beat me up to the extent that I would need intensive care in hospital. I called the police. On the 23rd of July 1999, while 2 builders were present to quote for a low boundary wall for my property, in the location marked green on the plan, the large man threatened me and anyone I employed with violence. I gave details of my visitors to the police, but later, on the 21st of July 2003, a supervisor at the local police incident management centre was to tell me, as far as the 1999 incidents are concerned, I have been unable to find any record on our computer system. I'll end part 1 with a new form of harassment dated the 5th of November 2001. In order to intimidate me, the large man removed a panel from the fence separating our back gardens. The small wife can be seen retreating. She shouted to the large man, "He's got a camera!" On the right can be seen a glass door, which was later to be hit by a water bomb from next door. Sussex police, of course, did nothing whatever about the intimidation. I persuaded a judge in the county court to order the large man to replace the panel. New forms of harassment and allies for the large man in the form of new neighbours on the other side of my property, Arrowed, meant that worse was to follow. Bye for now.